Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As far as 2022 is concerned, it is very clear that we have a tight two-horse race between Raila Odinga and William Ruto. While many have spoken about this race, that there are two races. There is a race between Raila Odinga and William Ruto, and there is another race between Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto. So the common denominator in 2022 race is William Samoei Ruto. And this is something that, in my own understanding, it was really crafted by William Ruto. This was crafted by the first narrative of dynasty versus hustlers. William Ruto isolated himself and called himself the hustler. Then he caged together Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga as dynasties. So if these two powerful people are going against him, then I think he's the making of the mess. What do you think? But at the center of every strategy that the two are laying down, one of a key emerging element is the choice of the running mate. And today, I want us to revisit William Ruto's choice of running mate in the wake of latest opinion polls that are showing that after Musalia Mudavadi joined William Ruto's team, Mudavadi is emerging as the best bet to deputize William Ruto. But then, that must also be seen, and you must look at that against Raila Odinga's side, who is the key competitor. But just before that, today, Kenya is holding their NDC at Tufangano House. And of course, we are following up. In case of any bombshell from that end, we'll be updating you. And Martha Karua is also one of a key leaders from Central Kenya that was being vouched to be a running mate to the two front runners. So we're still also looking at that. But then, guys, in this video, I wanted us to look at scenarios that are playing out that, in my own understanding, nothing is casted on the stone. There is a high probability that William Ruto likely to pick a running mate out of Central Kenya. I know to many people, this has been the unpopular opinion because there is a narrative that was framed by none other than Moses Kuria that it is time for Central Kenya not to field a presidential candidate, but the same Moses Kuria framed that narrative better to say that the running mate must come from Central Kenya because of their population. But I want, as before I mention analysis on my 6 points, why I think William Ruto might actually disrupt that narrative, is this. Unlike 2017 and 2013, the 2022, the tyranny of numbers is disrupted. And the tyranny of numbers is disrupted because Uhuru Kenyatta is not on the ballot. If it could be the other way around, that now William Ruto is the president and William Ruto and Uhuru can vie as deputy president, I think we still would have had the tyranny of numbers. But with that, the truth of the matter is that they are disrupted. Another friend of mine was telling me that there is no tyranny of numbers because even the numbers are not there. And that was to mention that the turnout do not even give the threshold to speak about tyranny of numbers. Guys, before we look at compelling scenarios that might force William Samoei Ruto to change his mind and hand over Runningmate to Mudavadi, if you're watching this channel and you haven't subscribed, I want to request you kindly and humbly subscribe. Also click the notification bell. When we publish a video, you will be notified. And of importance, you can also tell us the likelihood of Mudavadi favoring Mudavadi, likelihood of Ruto favoring Mudavadi. So let's face it here. In central Kenya, the candidates that are viable as within UDA, because one thing I know is if William Ruto is to go to central Kenya, the front runners before Mudavadi came were Waiguru and Rigathi Gachagua. Waiguru is committed to go and defend her seat. So we want to relinquish her from that running mate slot. Rigathi Gachagua, Alice Wahome, and Ndindi Nyoro. I don't think Ndindi Nyoro is interested in running mate. So let's just face it. It's Rigathi Gachagua. But now, one of the things that might reconfigure William Ruto's mind to go from Mudavadi is illusional Mount Kenya command. Let me ask you, if today Rigathi Gachagua and Ndindi Nyoro, Alice Wahome decides to cut ties with the deputy president, do you think Ruto will not get votes in central Kenya? Or let me ask it the other way around. Do you think William Ruto is getting some support from central Kenya because of these few MPs around him? Or people are still clinging on William Ruto because of the kumi yangu kumi yako? Or because of the empowerment projects that he's been doing there? What do you think? William Ruto's initial strategy, the deputy president's initial strategy, was to make sure, one, that he takes command of central Kenya. And sometimes last year, you will hear this MP saying that, and I think this was mentioned by Adan Duale, that central Kenya do not need a running mate. They do not need a post because their kingpin is William Samoei Ruto. But now that is what did not work well, because I want to say it is illusional. The truth of the matter here is William Ruto has some support from central Kenya, but he is not the kingpin. That is my position. So that illusional feeling can make him feel, okay, I have taken central Kenya, they'll vote for me because of William Ruto. So for me, let me go back to Western and take Mudavadi. That is one. Two, if Uhuru successfully kicks out UDA from central Kenya, I want you to be keen for next week. On Wednesday, there's going to be Sagana 3. Then on Friday and Saturday, there's going to be Jubilee, ODM, NDC. After that, Uhuru Kenyatta is going to start Central Kenya tour. So the next 2 weeks from next week are going to tell you what exactly you expect from Central Kenya. If indeed, and this is something that will be seen, now William Ruto is getting a good command in Central Kenya, but Raila Odinga is charging. And Raila Odinga is at 27% according to some average polls. If William Ruto will realize that Uhuru, there is a voice of reasoning from Central Kenya, and he might not get 2 million votes from Central Kenya, I can tell you, he will revert back to the narrative that mnipatie yangu kumi yako kumi, underlook the Rigathi Gachagua, then head to Central Kenya, head to Western Kenya, and look for Musalia Mudavadi. And this will be strategically because Western Kenya do not have a strong candidate that is seeking the presidency. And in the event that that happens, Raila Odinga might have to plant another presidential candidate there so that they divide the votes, if in case that Mudavadi is getting some euphoria from Central Kenya. But analysts will tell you that Mudavadi have a shell of a party called ANC that do not have even members of parliament. So this can be the thing. If he's kicked out of Central Kenya, he will shift the tyranny of numbers push to Rift Valley Western. And in that case, the disadvantage is the Rigathi Gachagua team. Another compelling reason why I think this can be done is Rigathi Gachagua is punctured. Rigathi Gachagua is facing 2 cases, corruption and criminal, because he was supposed to testify to be a witness. The witnesses in the murder probe of the second governor of Nyeri, that is Wahome Kakuru, called his name, and he was supposed to go and testify, and though he refused. So according to that case, what I've actually captured in that case is that the governor who passed on was doing investigation on some deals that were done by the first governor, that is Nderitu Gachagua, who was Rigathi Gachagua's brother. Then there is also this case of 200 million corruption case around the 200 million. So William Ruto might feel like this could be, and Ruto has been in government. This could be some of the schemes to try to block even Rigathi Gachagua from seeking public office, especially the Chapter 6. Although I also agree that Chapter 6 has never been applied in this country. And it might also puncture the reputation of Rigathi Gachagua. In that case, I think there might be a change of thought to try to look at other options that are there. Thirdly, between the Central Kenya team and Musalia Mudavadi, who do you think Ruto will trust? If you ask me, Ruto will trust Musalia Mudavadi. The Central Kenya is just on the matrix of numbers. But if you look at seniority, experience, someone who can deliver, Musalia Mudavadi has been a vice president in this country. Rigathi Gachagua was just a chief, or just DO, worked in the provincial administration space, then after that left and joined elective politics. But Musalia Mudavadi was appointed, I think, immediately got into parliament, 1989. 3 months later, he was a minister. And he has served in the ministry. He was even a deputy prime minister here in the Grand Coalition government. So he is a more trusted person to give that seat if William Ruto really needs a principal assistant. And this trust is also needed because the ICC case is hanging in the balance. So in any case that William Ruto, one thing I can say is I don't think successfully ICC will block William Ruto from being in the ballot. He will be in the ballot. But then I think you need someone you can really trust, someone who cannot be shortchanged, someone who cannot be sabotaged. The Central Kenya team are Central Kenya. He's Central Kenya. That is it. So he might front Musalia. In any case, things are going south in ICC, you can trust Musalia with the government. Because you also need someone who is a very strong opponent, a very strong enemy of your opponent. Because if you ask me, what has Raila Odinga done to Rigathi Gachagua? What has Raila Odinga done to Ndindi Nyoro? What has Raila Odinga done to Alice Wahome? Nothing. But the real enemies of Raila Odinga in UDA, and rather the Kenya Kwanza, are the Musalia Mudavadis. Because they're out to settle scores. They believe that Raila Odinga was supposed to support him. He's been supporting Raila Odinga. I saw Raila was supposed to support him in 2022. There are issues between Mudavadi and Raila. For them, it's a bit. And Mudavadi also has a very strong beta bile against President Uhuru Kenyatta. Remember the Madimoni thing. So he cannot easily work with the enemy. So that is why Mudavadi will play a very key role for William Ruto. And I can tell you this is really possible. So lastly, how about if it is about neutralizing Raila in Western Kenya? Because I can assure you, if voting is done today, Raila is going to take the majority of the vote from Western Kenya. But as I normally mention, if Mudavadi is on the ballot as a presidential candidate or is in there as a running mate, sorry, there's a running mate, there is a lot of many voters from Central Kenya might reconsider and give Mudavadi a substantive number of votes, even though he cannot still get more than Raila, but it's going to be some divide and rule. So that could also be a strategy, and this can only work in the event that BBI is brought back. Then behind the scenes, William Ruto supports BBI and makes sure that the Prime Minister and this other small expanded goes to Central Kenya. But in the ballot, he picks Musalia Mudavadi. Guys, what do you think? I know people are feeling like, oh, this is not. This can be possible. This can work. This can work. Believe me, this can work. William Ruto is doing the 47 counties, collecting views. Then after that, towards the end of March, we are expecting them to name the running mate. What I want to say here is this. The person who will name running mate first, that is the person that will stand a good chance and shall have convinced Central Kenya. The other person who is going to do it second will be a copy-paster. But if you are smart enough, name your running mate first. If you're naming from Central Kenya, run with it. Before, if the other person is going to pick running mate after 1 month, that person will be coming late.